listening to Sports Talk 916 with Greg Bull and Coach Greg Veroza.
If you'd like to participate in the show, there are a couple of ways to do it. If you want to contact us on Twitter, use the show's Twitter address, which is @SportsTalk916. For Greg B, go to @MrChief916. And for me, Coach Greg, it's @Greg Veroza. And Veroza is VAROZZA. And if you want to chat live with us, the best place to go is go to the Mixler page and hit chat. There you'll see all of us chatting together as the show goes on. Go now? Can I go now? Can I?
Yes.
Hey, everybody. Nice to talk to you. Seems like it's been about 6 years since we talked.
Yeah.
Welcome. This is Sports Talk 916. 916? Hello.
No, it's not.
Hello. We are changing the format of the show right now. Season 6, episode 4. 5. No. Season 5, episode 6.
Season 5.
You said 6.
6.
You said earlier. It was
Season 5, episode tonight.
I am Coach Greg Veroza, and I am one of the two-headed monsters of Greg that make up the Sports Talk 916 animal. Right over there is my buddy, Mr. Chief, Greg Bull.
What's up?
Not much, man. How's it going?
Not much. TJ, Barn Bomb, what's cracking?
Mikey. Mike, we had a little request to you, and I haven't heard anything from you yet.
I don't think we're going to hear from Mike on that one.
Huh?
I don't think we're going to get any swearing out of Barn Bomb.
Ah, come on.
He never came through with what a light rail station you should take to games either.
Yeah, well, it was some kind of weird, long, convoluted Mike answer that.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, I couldn't understand it.
It was like go to New York and catch a subway. And...
Yeah, pretty much, and take the light rail to the East Station to the green ticket and the gold line and
jerk off Harambe.
Yeah, pretty much.
Speaking of Harambe, rest in peace.
Who?
The gorilla that got killed in Cincinnati. That's whose slippers I'm wearing. They're Harambe slippers. They're not actually Harambe slippers, but they are gorilla heads. The gorilla at the zoo in Cincinnati that dragged a little kid around so they shot him.
Oh, okay.
Harambe. That was his name.
I'm a little slow lately.
All right. So we do have a big show. It's going to be... let me go ahead and warn you guys.
So we just get it out in the open now?
I'm just going to go ahead and warn you guys. There's going to be... And really, I'm just warning Barn Bomb. There's going to be a lot of... Swearing.
Hatred.
A
Venom.
little bit of that. And just all around good fun, for lack of a better term.
What Sports Talk radio is all about is spewing out just pure hatred.
Pretty much. So we're going to get right into that. But first, it's been 2 weeks. Mr. Veroza, how have you been?
I've been good. It's been a pretty boring 2 weeks. Had a little procedure on my foot last week, so I took last weekend and pretty much did nothing. Got a little work in this last week, and saw a good movie the other day, though.
Yeah?
The Accountant.
Hey, how was that?
It was good. It was very, it's kind of a psychological thriller, shoot 'em up, bang, bang movie.
Oh.
Are we there?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay,
Barmum, so that almost works, but you got to call in and do it. We need to hear it in the flesh.
Oh, did he? Oh, I got to pull this up.
He says, if you're going to buy me food on opening night, let me ask you two this question. What the fuck are you thinking, Ty Lawson? Get the fuck off the Sacramento Kings with that kind of behavior. You're out of here. And he wrote it out, too. That's at least good for a souvenir soda, right?
Absolutely.
So, Mike, drinks are on Greg. Drink is on Greg because you're not a drinker, but Diet Coke of your choice in a souvenir cup there, buddy.
You got it, Mike. I will take that.
In fact, hold on.
That just made my night.
Screenshot and saved. Oh, Mike, we love you, buddy.
You're the best, Barn Bomb.
And actually, that's what we're leading right into, Mike, is Ty Lawson and the Sacramento Kings. So... Oh, Mike, we love you, buddy.
You're the best, Barn Bomb.
And actually, that's what we're leading right into, Mike. There we go. All right. So, we're in stereo.
We were so excited, we said it twice.
Right. So let's just jump right into that. Ty Lawson, Sacramento Kings. He was brought in on somewhat of a short leash to begin with. He had DUI problems. He had other problems, just behavioral problems as his career has gone on. And it was late into free agency, like so late they were like a week and a half, 2 weeks out of preseason, and all of a sudden get an alert: Sacramento Kings have signed veteran point guard Ty Lawson to a 1-year deal, and you're like, okay. Sure.
Yeah, it's kind of like, wow, he's still out there available.
Right. So it comes up, and you're like, obviously he's going to be on a short leash. And first couple preseason games, camp looks good. They're saying his quickness is there. He's looking like, the old Ty Lawson in a sense. And then we get an alert this morning. NBA sources tell Yahoo or whoever the hell it was, USA Today or whoever, ESPN, that Ty Lawson has to meet with Kings officials to explain why he missed his flight to Kentucky for the Rupp Arena game against the Wizards. And then more details came out that said he also has to explain why he was late for shoot around before the flight. And you get to thinking like, okay, well, what the hell is Ty Lawson doing? He's already on his last chance. And now reports are coming out that he's basically on borrowed time with the Sacramento Kings. They can essentially cut him for nothing.
Oh yeah.
And it looks like they're not going to do anything with him. Unless he has, they may give him the benefit of the doubt. If something major happens, sure, he might get a pass for it. But in this day and age, why aren't you texting somebody or calling?
Absolutely. And here's the thing. He was in Vegas. So there's already way too much stuff there to get in trouble with. He should have been taking more care of himself.
Especially with his drinking history.
Yeah. So, this is, oh, you're going to get me started.
Go. That's what we're here for. Go.
This is just symptomatic of a whole fucked up organization. And I'm sure we're going to talk about it a little bit later.
That's actually what we're on now. So go for it.
All right. So we had the little newspaper bit session, pissing match between Ronavec and Jeff Petrie.
Ronadive? Ronadive. That's Vivek and Ronadive in the same sentence.
God, I don't know what I'm thinking. We had the little pissing match between those two guys.
By the way, Vivek came out the loser in that situation.
Oh yeah.
Petrie ripped him a new asshole sideways.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, and he did it in a Jeff Petrie kind of way, really low key, mellow, and just stating the facts. And
we'll get to that in a sec, Mike.
It's just symptomatic of how crappy this whole organization is. Here we are. We're opening up a sparkling brand new building, which I haven't been to yet.
And we're going to get to that here in a second, too.
Yeah, with no fucking cup holders. And what are we talking about? We're talking about a guy missing shoot around and a flight to a game. We're talking about the owner and the ex-GM arguing about whether the GM actually wanted to be there. And for anybody to question Petrie's integrity like that just fucking pisses me off. I mean, if anything Petrie had through the whole thing with the Maloofs and everything else, he was up there. He was the face of the franchise. He took everybody's spears. He took everybody's shots, and he did it in a professional way. He didn't throw anybody under the bus. He didn't shirk any of his responsibilities. He stood up there like a man and did what he was supposed to do. And then to go and say shit like that, we're the fucking Cleveland Browns. We are the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah. Yeah. And that leads me to the next point. So we had arguably the architect that built the best team in San Francisco, Sacramento history. Jeff Petrie.
Arguably about it.
Yeah, he built the best team that Sacramento's ever seen.
Yep.
And when he had money to spend and the Maloofs didn't have him in a cockhold, he was arguably the best general manager in basketball.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was widely known that if Jeff Petrie called you to make a deal, you were going to get fucked, and you were going to smile getting fucked.
Yeah, and you're going to take it. You're like, well,
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
And then Mike, we're going to get to that too. He's giving you like demographics or like semantics when it comes to why there's no cup holders.
I know why. I know why there's no.
He built the best team we've ever seen, and then the Maloofs systematically disrupted what he did by taking the money away, and that's all another story. For Vivek to even throw shade on someone that was so instrumental to the history of the team that Vivek brought shows Vivek's character. But then to come out in the very next breath and essentially praise the direction that Vlade Divac is now taking the team is laughable, because Vlade Divac is not a capable general manager in the NBA. He's great with building relationships. He's great with player interaction. But go back to last year's draft, the pick swap. He admitted after the fact that he really didn't know what the hell he was doing when it came to salary cap. That's why he took such a big dump, and it essentially hurt us. He needs to be more or less the scout that answers directly to the general manager, not the general manager.
Yep, I agree. But didn't they bring somebody? Didn't they bring in a capologist to help him with all that?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened with that guy. I mean, it's how many clowns can you have in one car? Like it's getting bad. And then there was rumors floating around that the Milwaukee Bucks had contacted the Sacramento Kings about getting Michael Carter-Williams here for Ben McLemore. Turns out that Vlade wanted a draft pick in the deal, which McLemore does not bring value to include a draft pick. It should be a player for player swap. So
we would have gotten the best of that deal.
Yeah, we would have got great player in that deal. Well, maybe not great player, but better player than Ben McLemore.
Better player than what we have at that position.
Right. And he could have been a starter right from day one. And then, with Collison being suspended 8 games, then maybe you bring him in off the bench as a 6th or 7th guy. But then today, reports come out that the Chicago Bulls traded Tony Snell to the Milwaukee Bucks for Michael Carter-Williams. He's going to back up Rondo. So, there's another whoopsie. And then the news, shortly thereafter comes out about Ty Lawson, and now they're not sure what they're going to do about him. Vlade doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Well, it starts at the very top and works its way down, and none of those guys know what they're doing. I feel sorry for a guy like Chris Granger, who's kind of stuck in the middle of he's a good guy, honest guy, knows his stuff, and he's stuck around with a bunch of, like you said, clowns trying to fit into a car. One other thing on the Petrie thing. Did you see where he basically took it on his own during the transition to go over to Greece and scout the Greek freak that Milwaukee ended up drafting, and
he reported back to D'Alessandro
to say specifically, you need to draft this guy. You need to draft him. What happened?
Nope.
Yep.
We got Nick Stauskas.
Yep. So, if I hadn't dropped $2,000 on season tickets, I'd be done with them. But I dropped $2,000 on season tickets, and I'm stuck going.
So, more things that piss fans off. One, preseason games not televised. Makes no sense.
What's up with that?
Apparently, there's reasons behind it. The Lakers do it. The Kings don't understand it. So we won't see the Kings on TV until opening night. Well, the season opening night, not the home opener. Barbob says there's reasons. He was schooled by Kings administration on this. Whatever the case may be on that. It's all a moot point. It should be on for fans.
Absolutely. Especially in a year like this, when they're making a transition to a new building. You got to get the excitement
in the building. People see it on TV and they're like, "Damn, I have to see that place."
Exactly.
It's just another misstep by this misguided organization. And then you get to Golden One Center. And I said I wanted to hold off on this, but you said go for it.
No, go for it.
So first, actually, hold on. Let's touch on Barnbaum's thing here. He asked, with the Ty Lawson situation going on, do you think that a player that essentially may have been going down to Reno will make the roster now? I haven't seen the team on TV, so I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know what the hell they look like. I don't think so. I think if they cut him, Basically, with Collison being suspended 8 games, they get an extra roster spot for those 8 games.
Right.
So essentially, Lawson falls off, and you have your normal roster. They could bring up like David Stockton or somebody to fill in for those 8 games as a backup. But Dave Yeager's come out and said numerous times that he's extremely happy with the way that Temple is running the backup point guard role. Should Lawson now be gone, I don't think they need to bring in anyone else. And then Collison, it's only 8 games. I mean, over an 82-game season, 8 games is a very small slice to be suspended by. And by all accounts, I mean, it's Collison's team once he's back. He looks really good from what I've heard in preseason. So I think the Kings are okay when it comes to that.
But, just with this whole thing that's going on with this organization, it just tells me it's just a matter of time. And no matter what the coach is doing, this thing's going to blow up. It's going to blow up because there's no leadership.
Yeah, and you got to assume... Oh, fuck, the iPad died. That's great. And that's not... Well, I don't fucking know what's going on. You have to assume that there's going to be a shakeup of some sort on this roster. There has to be some sort of shakeup because this team can't go forward the way that they are right now.
No.
They can't fucking build around a bunch of centers. And fittingly, Corner Pub just joined, so they know. You can't go around a bunch of centers. You can't go around the promise of players that may or may not be here. Rudy Gay doesn't want to be here. What did Vlade say? Oh, we're not trading him. We're going to go ahead and let the season play out and see if we can change his mind.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Shit, if I let him play out the season, I'm not going to change my mind.
So here's the thing about that. If he comes in and says, if there's rumors or speculation that Rudy Gay may not re-sign here, like let's say there's rumblings, but he never comes out and says, I'm not re-signing next season, I'm not picking up my player option, you might write it out because if they have a really good run and they make a trade and it boosts the roster up, Rudy may go, you know what, I like the direction we're headed, I like playing for Coach Yeager again, I'll re-sign. He out and out came out and said, I'm not picking up my player option.
Yeah.
That means he has no doubt in his mind that he doesn't want to be a part of the Sacramento Kings. If there's any doubt, you risk it, but he doesn't want to be here. Why the fuck would you not trade him for something?
Yeah, but here's the thing. Is they can't come out and go, okay, we're going to trade him because his value's already diminished because he said he doesn't want to be here. His value's already diminished because he said he's not going to pick up his option. And then to say, okay, we're going to trade you, then you're going to have to give up. You're not going to get as much back. So if Vlade comes back and says, I'm just saying a smart GM would say, you know what, we're not going to trade him, we're going to stick it out. Then hopefully the offers that you do get for him are going to be more because they're going to try to pry him away from him.
But here's the way I look. Here's the hole in that logic that I see. We're sitting here in Sacramento, California on 2 microphones and an iPad. And we can understand...
No, the iPad's not working.
Oh, yeah, the iPad's not even on. So we're sitting here. We could see through the logic of that says he has no value regardless.
Right.
Vlade doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
No.
So why wouldn't they just offer him pennies for it? Because here's the deal. You either get pennies for him or you get nothing because he's just going to walk. They don't have his bird rights. They don't have anything that gets any kind of compensation should Rudy Gay leave.
Right.
There's no point.
Something burning?
Maybe.
Is it the heater maybe just kicking on?
I would hope not since I turned on the air conditioner. All right, well, if you hear screaming, call 911. We're in Rancho Cordova, California.
I have 911. I have 911 already dialed on my phone.
Right, it's just ready to hit send. No, Mike, I don't need to borrow your iPad.
Yeah, Mike, bring it over. Bring it over. Bring it over. We'll wait for you.
Yeah, we'll just sit here on the air, dead air. No, it just means we don't have any of our commercials or buffers.
Oh, I do smell that. I smell something now.
My wife might be cooking. That could be it.
Yeah, but it doesn't smell like electrical fire, does it?
No, it doesn't. It's some kind of cooking fire. So we're good. Hopefully we could get this to turn back on so we have commercials a little bit. Otherwise, we're talking a lot, Greg.
Cool.
It'll be a shorter show. So there's that. And then, like I said, you get to Golden One Center. And from the outside, it is fucking beautiful. walking up to it, you kind of walk up in a state of awe. You're just like, damn, this is nice. It's got the big digital marquees on the side. It's got the big ass doors. Like, it is nice.
Then you go inside.
You walk in and you get greeted by the nice people, and I don't know what that means, but Cornpow's making a joke about going to lunch. So you walk in and you're like, okay, lower concourse is kind of cool. You walk around a little bit. You see some of the artwork. Well, first of all, you see the fucking gummy bear thing outside, and that's just weird.
Yeah.
And then you get inside and you look around, and hey, the iPad's back on. You look around a little bit and you see the old vintage, storefront signs from around Sacramento, which is, I think, a fantastic touch. And then you sneak a peek through the curtains and you look into the lower bowl and you see that giant jumbotron and you're like, damn, this is kind of nice. And then when you realize you're poor like me and you have to go to the upper bowl. And you go upstairs and there's a lot of, there's a lot of concession stands and there's a lot of, different things going on in a couple stores. And there's like this little Rayleigh's thing where they sell a $12 bottle of wine for $48. And, and there's $14 beers everywhere, which is atrocious. And you walk around a little bit more and you're like, all right, well, it's kind of cool. And you go to the draft house, which is over the open air walkway that looks down. And if you go there for a concert or wrestling event like I did, that's closed off and you can't even see into the bowl. And you do like a quick walk around. And you're like, oh, this is nice. Okay, it's cool. And then reality sets in. First of all, it's white on the inside everywhere with black numbers, black lettering, whatever. Looks like a fucking hospital. It's just plain. There's no purple. There's no Kings logos on the upper bowl.
Really?
Like, it's bare. And you're like, okay, well, whatever. And like I said, you get $14 beers and $12 cocktails. And there's a El Centro, which is one of the vendors, and it says burgers and shakes. And you get excited and you go get a $14 habanero cheeseburger and you ask for a milkshake and they don't have any.
Oh, Jesus.
But it says fucking shakes right on their goddamn marquee. And there's like Chinese food and there's Greek food and there's a whole bunch of food varieties and there's so many fucking registers that you don't have to wait in line. It's nice.
Okay.
And then you walk out and you go to your seats and you're like, okay, this is kind of fucking steep. And as you're walking by, your knees are clipping the back of somebody's head because of how low the row is beforehand. So you're like head knocking people, and you get to their seat and you're holding your $14 beer and your $14 hot dog, and you're like, oh shit, I can't put my beer down because there's no cup holders. But then you're like, oh, I'm in a soft seat. This is cool. It's padded. It's not plastic. I can see the court. The Jumbotron looks great. Sure. And you start looking around and you're like, damn, my knees are kind of in the back of this guy's head. I'm 6'5". And you look to the left and your wife, who's 5'5", her knees are relatively close. And then you look one more seat over and your friend who's 5'3" is squirming around because she's uncomfortable because there's no leg room.
Oh, jeez.
And then, you start looking around and you go down to the first row, which is row A in the upper bowl. And, if you've ever been in Sleep Train Arena, they have this plexiglass window that, would be like a little bit taller than belly button on me at the old building. I'm 6'5", so it's a decent height, And you walk down to the one in the new arena and it's like knee level. The safety glass is like literally like knee level. It's super short. And I'm like, a fucking guy in a wheelchair could hit that and flip over. Like, it's low. And I talked to some city leaders who took a tour with Turner Construction, who built the arena. And their response to that was, well, it's up to code. And I'm like, okay, cool. So someone's going to fall from the upper bowl and land in a loft or land on someone in the lower bowl and die.
Right, but it's up to code.
But 2 people have already fallen from, say, row H to row G in the upper bowl and landed on an 87-year-old woman and sent her to the hospital. But the King's response, well, it takes some getting used to walk around in there because it's so steep, because we want it to be, the proximity to be close like Sleep Train Arena. And, it's up to code and we're within safety specs. But 2 people have already fallen in in the first 2 nights. But apparently it's not a big deal. And, you're like, okay, well, the show's going on or the concert's going on and I need to go to the bathroom, and you go up and everywhere there's bathrooms, whether it be solo gender or multi-gendered. Basically, what they did with the multi-gender, and they really should have explained this better before the hoopla, is at Sleep Train Arena, they had family bathrooms where it was like you could take your kid in.
Right.
They essentially replaced the family bathroom signs with all gender.
Right.
So
That's kind of what I thought
there's
they were
nothing
doing.
different to them. Like, it's just basically they put a different sign up. And, it's nice. But then I got to thinking about this place. And I'm like, we've talked about it multiple times that Vivek is going to be able to basically fall back on the fact that he gave Sacramento this glorious new building. And if the team isn't good, then, hey, I gave you this new building. And Paul McCartney opened it. And now Maroon 5 was here last night. And, Faith Hill and Tim McGraw are coming. And it's going to be great. It's not going to last the whole season. It's not. They're going to have maybe All-Star break. And then I think they're going to have to blow the roster up if they're not winning. DeMarcus is going to be gone. And season tickets holders like yourself aren't going to renew. Or they're going to be having trouble selling tickets. They will not be 100% sold unless they make a dramatic change to this roster and they make the playoffs for season tickets next year. And you can put that in writing. I don't see it happening.
Wow.
And I got to thinking a little bit more about it. And what was the nicest thing about Sleep Train Arena when the game started going downhill at the top of section 215?
You could go up and get a beer.
The cantina.
Yeah.
You can go up and get a beer and you can hang out at the tables with your friends and watch the game on the TV and hang out, right?
Right.
No. Nowhere in the upper bowl is there a lounge for people to gather. They have the Sierra Nevada Draft House.
Yeah.
It's 4 taps that have Sierra Nevada, a couple of cocktail mixers. They have vodka, bourbon, and brandy.
So it's not even a full bar?
Not even a full bar. It's like a quarter bar with beer. And they have the ledge where you can walk. There's not even tables in the draft house. It's just a pass-through. So if you want to hang out, you have to just stand in the middle of the concourse. There's no social aspect to Golden One Center whatsoever, unless you're in the lower bowl or in the lounges in the VIP areas. Exactly. So it's going to wear off quickly when they get there. And I honestly think that what's going to keep Golden One Center afloat isn't even going to be the Sacramento Kings.
It's going to be the concerts.
It's going to be the concerts. Bon Jovi, U2's going to probably come here. There's rumor that Red Hot Chili Peppers may add more stops to their tour and make their way up from Oracle up this way, which I would go to in a fucking heartbeat. Paul McCartney was good. He was there 2 nights, sold it out. It was a great show. Maroon 5 last night looked fantastic.
Yeah, all the videos I saw were awesome.
The WWE event was great. I had a blast.
UFC's coming.
I just don't know that the Kings are going to hold any kind of sustainability to keeping people happy about that building. The shine is going to wear off very quickly. And it's kind of depressing when you think about it because it's leaps and bounds above anything we've ever seen before here in Sacramento. And
how was the Wi-Fi?
Not very good.
Really? It's supposed to be world-class Wi-Fi.
When I was doing my Facebook Live videos, it interrupted 10, 15 times. Your connection's weak. Can't connect. Rebuffering, whatever. It's unless they haven't ramped it all the way up yet, because it's not the full season. I don't fucking know. But wasn't that great?
So the technological wizard of a building isn't.
I didn't even talk about the other thing. So sitting in the lower bowl for WWE, and there's a bunch of fat dudes breathing heavy because Nikki Bella's coming out in her booty shorts and stuff. It starts getting warm in there, Upper Boulder and Paul McCartney, hotter than fucking dog piss. I was like uncomfortable hot. And then a little bit of breeze came through, like the AC kicked on. And it was nice. Lower bowl, thought I was going to get fucking frostbite. Every other seat in the lower bowl, under the seat has an air conditioner vent.
That was supposed to be. So I heard Chris Granger interviewed about that. And supposedly, you're supposed to be able to get on the app and tell them that your section is too cold. And they'll automatically adjust the temperature section by section.
Well, that would have been nice to know because my feet hurt. They were so cold. Like, literally hurt to stand up because they were so fucking cold. It was ridiculous. So, I mean, if I were to grade the building as a whole, outer appearance, A+.
Even with the gummy bear?
Even with the gummy bear. The gummy bear is weird, but it's kind of cool.
Okay.
And the outside's only going to get better as Doco or whatever the fuck they're calling it is built up and the hotel's done and the outer area is done. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Initial wow factor give it a B plus because that does kind of, you can look past all the negative things I'm talking about and still have that wow factor. In event sustainability, C minus.
Really?
You're going to get bored. If the game is going bad, you're going to get bored. There's not going to be a lot to do that's going to keep you entertained. I mean, if the Kings are down by 25, you're going to leave. You're not going to stick around.
That never happens.
And those padded seats, by the end of Paul McCartney, I felt like I was sitting in Sleep Train Arena. My ass was asleep. They're not comfortable. And they're not as wide as they said they were going to be.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so even if they would have put cup holders in, it would have been like a hip cruncher.
So you and I sitting next to each other are going to have to lean the other way.
We're going to be cozy, for sure. What was the other thing I was going to mention? Oh, parking. The parking situation in traffic, A++.
Really?
So we got into both events when we went down there. In and out, or into the parking area, no problem. If you're going to go down and park downtown, use sacpark.org. It's an online website where you pick what garage you want to park in, you prepay for your parking, and you walk in, you show them your phone, or drive in, you show them your phone. They already have a spot reserved.
Really?
So it's not like a specific spot, like go up this row, but basically on their total number of available spots as they click people in, when you prepay, your spot's already taken.
Oh, okay.
So you show up, they're like, oh, you're good. You go in, and if you park in, I recommend the old Sac parking garage. It's a block and a half away, right around Perco's. You walk right up the ramp. And then when you leave, go out through Old Sac, wrap around to the Hyatt, and then loop around to the freeway. We left Paul McCartney at 11:20.
Okay.
If you were to leave, and that was right when the show ended, we got up and left. If you would have left Sleep Train Arena when the show ended at 11:20 at night, what time would you get home? To Rosemont, let's say. And that's walking to your car, getting out of Sleep Train, getting through Truxell or down Arena or whatever it was, plus the freeway back to your house.
Probably midnight.
12:15 maybe, depending on how stupid people are being.
It just depends on how slow traffic is on Truxell.
Okay, so we left at 11:20 to walk out of the building. I was in bed 11:45. In bed.
Whoa.
Home, dogs fed, dogs outside, undressed, teeth brushed, in bed, ready for bed.
Wow.
I literally walked out, and I'll tell you a secret about leaving the place that I'm not going to announce on the air.
You told me that already.
I walked out, walked a block and a half, got in the car. Everyone was going right to go back to J Street. I went left through Old Sac, hit the freeway, gone home, no problem at all.
Wow.
I have not heard one complaint.
I haven't heard anybody
traffic.
complain about traffic at all.
At all. So that gets an A++.
And that was going to be the thing that everybody was going to...
That's the thing everyone didn't like.
The most scared about.
Well, yeah, of course, Mike. Fucking regional transit's going to be way easier downtown than it would have been for Sleep Train. But overall, the building's shine is going to wear off. It's not going to have sustainability. And, they may work out the kinks and they may add more flair to it. Like, the building literally just opened. They may not have had the Kings colors and their logos put up yet because there wasn't a Kings event yet. It was McCartney and then WWE and Maroon 5.
So did they have, like, the retired numbers and stuff on the ceiling? And
I didn't even see that. So that wasn't even up yet. And I didn't see the wall of jerseys that someone posted a picture of the other night. They have a giant wall that has every single jersey the Kings have ever worn with the number of the year they wore them in.
Oh, wow.
So, like, the very first Kings jersey is 85. Then they have the 94 jerseys, the 02s. Even the gold one is up there with the 09 or whatever year it was. They have all of those up there, which I thought was cool. They didn't have that up. So they could still be adding more to it. So I'm holding back on that a little bit.
So can we give an incomplete on that kind of stuff?
On that stuff, yeah. But overall, I'd probably give it like a B. Like maybe a C+.
Wow.
I'm not sold on the amount of money that they're charging for that, and I haven't heard yet when I get my goddamn seats from Sleep Train.
Well, they still have two more events. So they have a graduation in December that they're doing. So apparently that's the last events they're going to have out there, the graduation. So I think once that happens, we'll get the seats. And we're only getting, from what I hear, we're only getting the plastic parts. We're not getting the metal part.
Yeah, which is bullshit, by the way.
We're just getting the plastic part.
Yeah, so I'm going to screw a piece of plastic to my wall?
Yeah.
That's dumb. Give me a fucking blowtorch.
Exactly.
And cut me off 2 fucking seats.
Exactly. That's all I want.
Unbolt them from the ground. I want to make a patio chair in my backyard, bolt them into the ground, and have my fucking chairs.
Yep. No,
You
I
sons
agree.
of bitches. I'll make one. I'll weld up my own fucking...
I'll show them.
Yeah, I'll make my own. It'll be more comfortable than that fucking Sleep Trainer. And it'll be like 30 fucking 6 inches wide. I'm going to put a piece of plywood next to the plastic. You bastards.
You bastards.
Houston has tied Indianapolis 23-23, less than 1 minute to play in the fourth quarter at the NRG Stadium in Houston. Cool. TJ said I had the gold jersey back in the day. We all make mistakes. Oh, man.
Hey, I think it's just a mistake having a Kings jersey.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's really sad to be going into a season like this with a new building, a promise of a new team, a new direction. And what are we doing? We're talking about the same shit that we've been talking about for the last 20 years.
Everyone's like, ooh, new building. It's going to be nice. New team.
Have you talked to Tavares about the building yet?
No. I mean, Mike's hard to get a true answer out of. I mean,
You think?
You know, he has his opinions about things, but then I think he also kind of keeps his mouth shut about things because of the fact that the Kings go to him for so many things. I don't think they want him bad-mouthing it in any way. So I think he keeps neutral, whether he wants to or not. So that's a little bit tough. But there's a lot of people that are just so entrenched in everything Kings that, you know, you could like literally be like, oh, look, one of the bathrooms is a claustrophobic free bathroom. Just go shit on the concourse. They'd be like, well, everyone matters. Like, there's that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I saw a post today about the Lawson thing, and people going, well, maybe we can give him a chance.
Corner pub. Oh, you think you guys have it rough? He said. TJ says, good point. How many wins for the Sixers this year? So speaking of that, Bleacher Report put out their predictions for the NBA season.
Okay, I haven't seen it. So.
How many wins do you think they have the Sacramento Kings winning this year? TJ gave me this morning.
32. Under 30?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
28.
Oh no! We suck again!
Under 28?
Keep going.
Oh, shit.
Ron's close, or whoever's listening. Ron or Sean. Corner pub's close.
25? Under 25?
Keep going.
21.
Wait, how many more?
No way. Under 20? Under 20?
Bingo.
19. Bleacher Report has the Kings winning 19 games this season. Even that's even worse than our pessimistic views.
God. Are we... It kind of makes you wonder, are we just kind of blinded by being close up to them?
Does it kind of make you happy, though?
Oh,
Like, well, not you, because you spent so much money on season tickets.
yeah, but if I could do cartwheels right now, I'd be doing
I'm
cartwheels.
throwing a little bit of a party that I got out of the shit show before it got worse.
Well, I held on to mine so that I could get rid of them for people who want to go see the new arena. Hey, how did that work out?
So I wouldn't be shocked if a bomb goes off before the season ends. That's gonna shake shit up big time. I don't think that they can keep DeMarcus here. I don't think they can at this point. I think they have to, in order to save the viability of the new building, I think they need to start over. And it's as shitty as that sounds, and I'm not advocating to do it, because I think that, you know, like I said earlier this year, I'm on the do not trade DeMarcus wagon right now.
I am too.
But the more and more I see the dysfunction in this team, you know, and people are like, oh, but Tolliver hit 7 for 7 threes, and Barnes playing good, and, you know, this and that. Ben had 18 against Mabakai Hubahaba, and then he missed an open dunk against, you know, Washington. Like, it's preseason.
Yeah, it doesn't mean shit.
You know what I mean? I think the Sixers have won like 3 games.
Hey, the Sixers, TJ just said the Sixers were predicted to have 20 wins. 21 wins.
Ron says, how about that pick swap?
22 wins.
New phone, who dis? That's still, I will give him this, that's still the best tweet I've ever seen in my life, was the Sixers on draft night or on lottery night when the Kings got 8 and the Sixers got 1. And the Kings tweeted to the Sixers, hey, how about that draft swap? And they're like, new phone, who dis? Still my favorite thing ever.
You know, it's depressing. It really is. And we've talked about this a lot, that the Kings really do have a free pass to do anything that they want in this town. And there's a ton of people that no matter what they do are going to hold out hope that it's the right thing. And I think that's part of the problem, that these guys aren't held up to a better standard than they are. We're so used to having Petrie, who we just expected was going to do the right thing and the best thing for the team. And we hold these guys to that same standard or same expectation, and they're not living up to it, but we don't call them on it. And, the fans, I have a feeling this is going to be the year that, if they get to the All-Star break and they've played 44 games and they've won 10, that this place is going to go nuts. And it's unfortunate that, now all of a sudden we have a huge, big monstrosity of a building that costs the city a whole bunch of money, and the Kings aren't living up to their end of the bargain and making sure that it's a good deal, and that, the promise of having a playoff ready team isn't there, and it's not going to be there for a long time.
Sorry. I don't know. And here I am thinking that, we're just going to touch on this real quick and we'll get into it and we'll move on to other things. And we have 17 minutes left of our first hour. We're still on the Kings. So, man, I don't know. So do you have any of our side stuff tonight? Do you have bingo or bullshits or anything?
Not really.
All right. So we're going to skip those tonight because we got to get to other things. So let's do a quick commercial. We're going to hear from you and Corner Pub since Ron's on. And we're going to talk about the other beloved team in our area, well, somewhat in our area, the San Francisco Giants and their
Not
shit
beloved anymore.
You're jumping on them too?
Is thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate, they deserve to have someone working with them that not only knows what they're doing, but will explain everything that happens along the way. That person would be me, Coach Greg Veroza of Keller Williams Realty. I have two goals. My first goal is to coach you through the buying and selling process, making it easy to understand and as stress-free as possible, which isn't easy sometimes. My second goal is to have fun doing it. Come be a part of my team. Let me coach you or anyone you know through the real estate process. Give me a call at 916-241-8068, and let's talk about how I can coach you through the real estate process. Let me ask you one question. Who do you know that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate that I should know right now? Again, that's Greg Veroza, Keller Williams Realty, 916-241-8068.
What's up, everybody? We are Corner Pub Sports every week talking sports, beer, and beyond. You can find us live 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time on wildfireradio.com or stream us on cornerpubsports.com. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Corner Pub Sports.
We look forward to seeing you at the pub every Friday night.
Cheers, guys!
Hey, man, what's up with the studio? It looks so much cleaner than the last time. I know I haven't been here in a week or so, but what the hell happened?
I just got tired of cleaning it myself, so I finally gave Crandall's Cleaning Service a call. They came out, looks like this.
Damn, they did a good job.
Yeah, I mean, they're amazing. Fully licensed staff came out, gave me a quick estimate, knocked it out in a couple hours, and they're going to come back on a monthly service.
What, are they going to do the rest of the house, or do that couple hours just cover the office?
A couple hours cover the office. That's all I had them quote for. But they do whole houses. They do offices. They do home stagings. They do everything.
Cool.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you want your house clean, give them a call, 916-952-3620. Ask for Nick. Let them know that Sports Talk 916 sent you. Like I said, they'll come out. They'll give you a special quote. They'll do monthly, bi-weekly, weekly, whatever it is you need for all your cleaning needs. They're fully licensed and insured. All right, we're back. Let's talk about San Francisco Giants. Even year, believing.
Oh, boy.
Believing, man. Come on, right?
All the way till the end. I was believing until the top of the ninth inning. And I knew as soon as he pulled Moore, whatever. I'm having a hard time with names today. As soon as he pulled Moore, I knew it was over. I turned to whoever I was watching the game with and said, This game's over. We're done. You know, and I said this at the beginning of the year, and I stuck to it all year. The bullpen is what was going to kill this team, and it showed.
Oh, TT, you were in the ESPN zone at downtown Disney watching that game. That
poor guy.
had to suck the life out of the happiest place on earth. Even, man, feel bad for you. So, so they took out Moore, who was down 112 pitches, but I mean, he was mowing people down. They couldn't figure him out. He probably wasn't going to start another game in the playoffs until late in the next round. Why wouldn't you just leave him out there? You know what I mean? Like the next game you're going to start Cueto with Bumgarner in the bullpen. That's the only two pitchers you say you're going to use in that entire game.
Yep.
You run Samardzija back out in game one because game one in the NLCS doesn't matter if you lose or win it. Then you might run Moore out there again on regular rest. You know, you have Block, who pitched great in relief, who could start a game. You know, why not run him out there? He's a young kid. You traded him for this reason. Pitch his ass. You know, and everyone's like, oh, Madden outsmarted Bochy. No, he didn't. Bochy just made a bonehead decision. He didn't. Madden did nothing that counterplayed against what Bochy did and made that team better.
Yeah, no. Bochy thought himself out of that game.
He overthought it.
He overthought it big time.
Shut up, Mike. You're dumb. So it leads you to believe that, and the Giants have already come out and said, our main focus next year is bullpen.
Of course.
Pagan's likely not going to be back. They've already said that Williamson or Parker is going to have a shot at the opening day left field role. Both guys, I think, with consistent spring, can have a big role in the San Francisco Giants offense. They both proved to be a decent bat. And then it brings you up to these free agents. So you have Javier Lopez. And I also ask you, I mean, how you feel about these guys.
We talked about this last time too, but I really want to do it again. Javier Lopez is gone.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think he wants to retire at Giant. I think he has one more year. I think they bring him back.
I'd give him 1 year. I'd give him one more year.
I think they bring him back on a short-term deal. He won't be making $12 million again like he did this year.
No.
Or $21 million, whatever the hell it was. Sergio Romo.
I think he comes back.
I do too. The only way that Romo leaves is if the Dodgers throw a shitload of money at him because his dad grew up a Dodgers fan and his dad's getting older, and it may be something to let his dad see him play as a Dodger. But I think Romo's heart is with the Giants.
And I think you bring him back to be a Javier Lopez kind of guy.
Yeah.
In for one hitter,
or two guys,
and then that's it. The time of him being a ninth inning reliever, it's over. He doesn't have the stuff for it.
I'm gonna save this guy for last. Angel Pagan. We can agree he's gonna be gone.
Yep.
Gregor Blanco. If they're gonna give Williamson and Parker an opportunity, I think Blanco leaves.
Yeah.
Jake Peavy.
He's gone.
Yep. And then the last one is Santiago Casilla. Now,
if I had my druthers, he's gone.
Right.
He's gone. I'll drive you to the airport.
Now, let me ask you this. What if they brought him back in a seventh inning role? Nowhere near the close. He still is good. And the reason why I even suggest that, because me and you have been talking about getting Casilla out of town for the whole season.
Right.
But and I don't think he's back, by the way. I don't think he'll come back.
No, he didn't. The way it sounded after that last game, he didn't want to come back.
But,
he wants to be a closer.
So let me ask you this though. The way that he handled the disappointment of not being trusted in the ninth inning of that game, and how much his heart was in it, that he was literally in tears, hurt that he was not called upon for that game. Does that, in a way, kind of change your perception on him as far as, like, if he were to come back, considering how much it meant for him to be the guy and not get that opportunity? Like, he basically wore his orange and black heart on his sleeve saying, I know I have my ups and downs. I know what I'm capable of doing. I've done it before. I wanted the ball in that situation. And for him to break down like that, it almost makes me question, because a lot of the times we talked about it, like, does he even have the heart to do it? He doesn't care. He looks like he doesn't give a shit. But then to see that, it's like, maybe we just maybe he just had a couple bad stretches here and there, but maybe we blew it out of proportion a little bit. Like, he really was bothered by it. He did work as hard as he said he did to have that happen to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the results weren't there. You know, and as much, I mean, that's what you're talking about. You're being a Kings fan right now. You're being a Kings
Speaking
fan.
of that, Barn Bomb, Mike, Sergio Roma is not a huge Kings fan. He's been in the arena, but I don't think his allegiance is fully with the Sacramento Kings.
No, he's wherever they're going to pay him to be.
Yep.
You're talking about you're being a Kings fan right now, and you're not being objective to it. And, you know, yeah, it's touching that he cares. It's touching that he was so hurt, but where's the results on the field?
True.
You know, he was done as soon as we had the balk off. You know, the balk off was kind of the end of the road for you. Now, you know, just when you mention it, maybe it was the ninth inning. Maybe he just doesn't have the mental makeup to be the ninth inning guy. That he's not a bad pitcher.
But fun fact, in the playoffs, well, leading up to this year, I don't know if he had a blown save in the playoffs this year. I don't think he did. But in his career in the playoffs with the Giants, he's never given up a ninth inning lead. So he has the makeup when it came to the postseason to do it. And Bochy didn't even give him a shot. Bochy's and that kind of baffled me because Bochy has been so religiously loyal to his relief guys that have been veteran guys who have that playoff experience. And from what I read in some of the media reports, when Boch makes his like walk down and he questions people like, "How's the arm? How you feeling? Are you ready?" In that game, he skipped Santiago Casilla, didn't even talk to him.
Really?
Didn't even ask him, "How's the arm? How you feeling? Are you ready?" Just went to the guy and then just moved along and went to the next guy, and never even brought him in. So I don't know if that's just like foreshadowing to the future, and Bochy knows he's gone. But you know, in a way, I kind of hope that he gets a closer role somewhere, and he does great.
I do too, but it's just not with the Giants.
Yeah,
he just doesn't have
fine.
the. You know, again, I could maybe think about him coming back as a seventh inning guy, but the problem is he's always going to want to be the ninth inning guy.
True.
And so I can see that being a locker room problem too.
Without a doubt. So let's do this. We're going to skip bingo or bullshit.
Have we reset?
No, we have 6 minutes left.
Really? Seems like that was about 20 minutes ago you said that.
Yeah. Skip, are you kidding me? Actually, you know, we could do a quick bingo or bullshit. I have a couple. It is now time for bingo.
Was that a bingo?
Bingo! A bingo!
Bingo!
I've got a bingo!
Bingo!
Bingo! Bingo!
Or bullshit. All right, Miss Rosa, bingo or bullshit. Vlade Divac will be on thin ice all year long after the choice on Rudy Gay and bringing in Ty Lawson.
Bullshit.
No, that's not the right button. Whatever.
Because there's not the leadership to keep anybody accountable there. You know, Ron Adive is just not going to do it. And it starts with him. I'm blaming everything on Vivek. Everything that happens to this team this year is going to be blamed on Vivek. And that's where I'm going to stop with everything. Everything is Vivek's fault. And he's not going to hold Vlade accountable to anything. He hasn't done it yet. He has, and he's got his little short ass Napoleon complex nose in everything. And he's, you know, everything is I. Well, if everything is I, then it's going to be you when everything gets fucked up.
No, it won't. It'll be everyone else's problem.
Well, yeah.
He won't take the blame for anything.
No.
All right, bingo or bullshit. The San Francisco 49ers will begin to get calls on Colin Kaepernick after this week's performance.
I'm going to say a really, really small bingo.
Bingo!
I wasn't. I mean, he looked better. It was better than they've had.
Yeah.
But all in all, he still sucked.
He did. And everyone's like, oh, he threw that deep ball to Torrey Smith. That was one of the worst deep balls I've ever seen.
He had to come back
and
for
Smith
it.
came back and get it. And one of my friends who's been on Kaepernick's fucking dick his entire career was like, no, that was a design curl route.
No,
You're
wasn't.
a fucking dipshit.
It was a go route, and he underthrew it by 10 yards. So Smith had to come back, and he was wide open.
Right. So Kaepernick, in my opinion, by the way, we're switching gears. We're going to cover Kaepernick for 4 minutes, and we're going to switch it over. In my opinion, this is an audition for Kaepernick. This is hey, everyone else look at him, because they restructured his contract.
Oh, he wouldn't have played if they hadn't restructured the contract.
Did you hear why they had to restructure his contract?
Well, I know the line that they gave is if he got injured, they're on the hook for $19 million next year.
Yeah. $19 million guaranteed should he be hurt next year and not make it through physicals.
Right.
What the
That was my friend Trent Baalke. I haven't heard the voice for a while.
So they restructure his deal. They get him out there. They're playing. And I honestly think that it's an audition for other teams to look at him and go, hey, now he's low risk. He has a player option next year.
Give me a 4th round draft pick.
Give me a 6th round draft pick at this point.
Yeah.
We're off the hook for him and we move on. We play Gabbard or we play Ponder. And after the game, they asked Chip Kelly today, so what'd you think of him? He was okay. Could have been better. The whole team could have been better. He wasn't great. I like some of the things he did, but, is he starting next week? We're not sure yet.
They have bigger problems, though.
They need to play Ponder. #play Ponder.
Well, they got bigger problems than that. I mean, LaShawn McCoy had a field day. I mean, it was like running. It's like, here, go to the end zone. Here's the ball.
Yeah, and then
Just
they
go
took him out and they let his backup do the same thing, which pissed me off because I had LaShawn McCoy on all 3 of my DraftKings teams today. Yeah, about that. So there was all that. The Niners, it started out, you're like, oh, defense is playing good. Got that fumble, touchdown for Kaepernick. Dawson's kicking great in the big win. And then all of a sudden the Niners D was like, all right, well, it's been nice. See you later.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah, we're done.
I know I had McCoy in a league too, and he scored a shitload of points for me.
Yeah, it was McCoy's revenge game. It was against Chip Kelly. He was like, I'm going to fucking ram this football so
everybody knew it. Everybody knew it. And, this team going into the season, we knew they were going to suck. Everybody knew they were going to suck. It was just how bad are they going to suck? And the one thing that was going to keep them going was their defense. They're going to stay in games because of the defense. The defense is the cornerstone to this team. A couple of bad injuries, and now they don't even have that. They don't even have a defense now to we getting a phone call?
Yeah, we're about to. I want to talk to Mr. Ron Sullivan of Corner Pub Sports about the Eagles.
Oh, cool.
Because I want to know if the Eagles that we saw in weeks 1 through 4 compared to the Eagles we've seen the last 2 weeks, which team's the real deal? Because everyone was on Carson Wentz's back about how great he's going to be, and the Eagles are looking so good, and, it was all this other stuff, and then, it's been bad. Ron, we're going to reset Mixer right now, and then I'm going to give you a call. So give us 35 seconds. So we'll be right back. We're going to talk to Ron from Corner Post Sports about the Philadelphia Eagles.
We got to talk to him about our invitation to his new studios that we never got.
Yeah, what the fuck, man?
I liked your comment yesterday.
So you're gonna answer or what? All right, let's give Ron a call here. He just texted me, so I have his number available. And we're gonna do this, and then hit this button, and we give him a call.
Pick up your damn phone.
Right.
We just went to voicemail.
10-second delay.
What's up, Greg?
What's up, buddy?
There you go. Hey.
How's Sacramento?
It's wet. We got 1.7 inches of rain today. That's
Jesus Christ.
ridiculous. I've been working in my backyard getting it ready because we're gonna sod my backyard. So I spent 12 hours yesterday raking and rototilling, and it was all smooth and beautiful. Now it's fucking flooded.
And it was raining so hard that my DirecTV went out for about 45 minutes.
Yeah, mine did today too. I couldn't hear Andrew Siciliano talk about himself. So, Ron, I wanted to ask you, buddy. First of all, how was your new studio set up over there at Sean's house? How was that?
To be honest with you, to be perfectly honest with you, I haven't even seen it yet. I had to work during our last podcast, so I wasn't actually able to be there for it. But I've seen it as it's coming together, and it's really cool looking.
Yeah, I put it on Facebook. I'm like, well, Greg and I the email must have went to our spam folder, whatever, with our itinerary to get out there and do a show. But, that didn't happen. But, no, it looks really cool. Like, I'm like, damn, I really wish we had a bar set up in my office. Might have to be something to work on.
Actually, the whole thing, front to back, is hand-built. It's really neat. They really did a great job on it.
Did he build it himself, or?
Yeah, it was him and a buddy of his that basically, kind of showed him how to do it and everything.
You know what?
Yeah,
I may have to get those.
Just two guys.
I may have to get those plans from him, and we could fit an L-shaped bar in here.
Absolutely, this is a 10x10 room. We can do that.
Just take this desk out, put an L-shaped bar.
I'm absolutely positive you'd be more than happy to email you whatever plans he had or whatever.
I might not have a sink or a running water. I don't know if he has that or not in his, but we could fit a fridge in here and a cup rack and have some bar. Hell yeah.
We can have cup holders. We can't have those in our arena, but we could have them in our office.
Golden One won't have them, but we sure as hell will. So, Ron, the Philadelphia Eagles open up the season on fire. Carson Wentz comes out, looks like the real deal. They get rid of Sam Bradford. And set the league on fire the first 4 weeks. Unstoppable. The offense was looking really good under Peterson, and Wentz leading the way. You have Matthews and Sproles. Just that nice little 1-2 punch, and everyone's like, "Damn, it's going to come down to the Eagles versus essentially the Cowboys with Dak Prescott playing out of his mind." That is until they mention that Romo's going to get his job back, which is, I think, the most stupid thing you can ever fucking do.
Yep.
And then you go on your bye week, right? And then you come back and they shit the bed against, what was it, Detroit? And
yeah, that was a tough loss. I actually thought for the most part they played reasonably well in that game, but it was a tough loss. This game, they could, if you want to throw the shit the bed label out there, this is the one that I feel like they just completely shit the bed on.
Right. So it's week 6 or 7, right? No, week 7. 6. It's their first divisional game. They're playing the Redskins. Right. And this was like the low point of Chip Kelly offense team showing up. Like, they couldn't move the ball. For some reason, Wentz looked skittish and kind of scared, like moving around in the pocket. He wasn't fluid. The wide receivers were like breaking routes off and T-Rex arming it for passes. And they made the Redskins defense look good. And then the Eagles defense showed up. They had their first 2 touchdowns of the game were on defense. And it's like,
no, one was on special teams.
Well, special teams and defense, yeah. So I'm going by the recap for my. I played the Eagles defense today in one of my DraftKings leagues, and it's like, 2 defensive touchdowns. But yeah, so defensive special teams holds their end of the bargain up, and then all of a sudden it's like the second half rolls around and the team just disappears. Like, what team is the real Eagles right now? I mean, do you guys even know?
Well, let me put it this way. I mean, there's a little bit of a prefix to this that you've really got to kind of appreciate before you hit this point. First of all, and locally, everybody goes bananas. They get out of the gate real good. It's just one of those things as fans being fans. But the Browns are a bad football team, and that's who we opened the season up against. And again, real nice way to transition into the first coaching game for Doug Peterson, first game for Carson Wentz. Real easy way to kind of get out of the gate. So that's that. Same thing with the second game. I mean, they didn't really play a good team. Even the Pittsburgh game. If you really look at the Pittsburgh, the way their schedule was set up, Philadelphia was a little bit of a trap game for Pittsburgh.
Absolutely.
And Pittsburgh's record in playing Philadelphia is awful. For some reason, they're just snake-bitten playing in Philly. They haven't won in Philadelphia since like the 60s, and I'm not exaggerating. Like, it's been that long.
Well, that's because they're sad for Santa Claus.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, of course. No, I mean, I know they only play here once every 8 years, but still, I mean, that's ridiculous bad. I mean, you would think by accident they would have snagged one sooner or later.
Right.
So, I mean,
No, I was gonna say. I mean, that's exactly what Bellingham Niner fan just said in our chat box. He said Philly played Cleveland, Chicago first 2 weeks. They did whip Pittsburgh at home, and then the third week, and then they lost to Detroit and the Redskins at home versus Minnesota. Then they go to Dallas. They could easily be 3-4 in the next 2 weeks.
No, they could probably lose, I would say, the next 7 games straight. They
Wow.
could.
Wow.
I mean, they have a murderer's row of games coming up. I mean, they've got to play the Vikings. They've got to play Dallas in Dallas. They've got to play Green Bay, who I know is not playing great, but I mean, Christ, that's a team you can never sleep on.
Are they in
they've
Green?
got-
Are they in Green Bay or are they in Philly?
No, they're home.
Oh, okay.
They're home for that game. We don't have to go to Lambeau or anything like that. But still, like I said, you never sleep on an Aaron Rodgers team.
No.
That's just bad business. They've got to play the Bengals at some point. They've just got a crazy difficult schedule. So I kind of think that, to a degree, I mean, again, this was a bad loss. But at the same time, I kind of think this is the team sort of settling and course-correcting back to where they probably naturally were in the first place.
Damn, and then I just got it filled in. They play the Giants in New York. They're home for Atlanta, who's playing out of their mind, and then they're at Seattle.
Wow.
Yeah, so you're right. They
Wow.
easily could roll off another 6 losses in a row, and people are going to be like, "Oh,
there's
wait,
not
look, there they are."
There's not a single game that you can point to out of that stretch that you could say, okay, that's at least a win. Like, I know we got that one.
Too bad you
know what
guys
I mean?
don't play the
Like-
Niners this year. You could have chucked that one up for a win.
Yeah, that's a whole different kettle of fish, isn't it?
Oh God.
Hey, you know what though? We've talked about it now for 2 years. If you guys want Kaepernick, you can have him. Just send me a cheesesteak and I'll get the message over.
I've been backing your play on that one. It's a terrible idea.
So I was going to ask you
But,
before
I mean,
before we talked about all those losses. I was going to ask you if you thought that it was going to kind of be a NFC East just kind of eating each other up, and it's somebody. Do you think somebody at 500 or 9-7 are going to win that division because they're going to be just
absolutely.
Yeah.
No question about it. I mean, I don't think there's any way that anybody in the division wins more than 9 games. I mean, the division games in the NFC East are all dogfights. I mean, that's where I was scratching my head at people that just thought that the Eagles are just going to roll over the Redskins. It's like, this never happens. It doesn't matter how bad the teams are. It doesn't matter how good or dominant any other team. It's so rare that division games are a blowout in one way or the other. It just doesn't seem to happen.
Especially, and that's one division that happens in.
Well, that division hates each other. Like,
Right.
You can go through
Right.
like our division, NFC West, for example. Aside from the Niners and the Seahawks, and sometimes the Niners and the Cardinals, depending on how the teams are going, there's basically 2 games a year. That's when the Niners and Seahawks play. That you legitimately I don't want to say fear for your guys like on the field, but you kind of have that eeriness over the field, like it's going to get chippy and someone could get hurt because they just genuinely don't like each other. And that was especially the case when Harbaugh was still our coach, Harbaugh versus Carroll. But literally, like every single divisional game when it comes to the NFC East, you're like, someone is going to try to kill somebody. And it's never like you're just being exaggerated. Like these teams and these cities legitimately do not like each other, and it's a grudge match every time they play.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, not only that too, but skill level wise, they're all about the same. I mean, nobody's really that much better or worse than each other in the division. The Giants aren't a dominant team by any stretch. The Redskins, I know they won today, but I mean, they're not dominant. I mean, nobody's walking into a Washington game afraid to play the Redskins.
And
It's just
and
it's
who
just
knows
the
what
way the division's laid out.
and who knows what the Cowboys are going to be, whether what's going to happen with
Yeah,
their
it's the
quarterback
same thing.
situation.
I know that Prescott's playing well. Ezekiel Elliott seems like he's finally coming in and playing well. They lost Des Bryant. Doesn't look like they missed a beat in the passing game. I mean,
No.
they're still playing really well. They're playing really good football, even despite the losses that they've had. So, I mean, you can't discount them. The whole division is pretty much about the same. So if you're the Eagles and you split your division games, then you start looking at the out-of-conference games and the out-of-division games. And they're all a bitch this year.
Does it surprise you, speaking of the Cowboys, that Jerry Jones has his head so far up his own ass that he's really going to consider turning the team back over to Tony Romo when he comes back, despite what Prescott is doing? Or do you think right now he's just talking, standard Jerry Jones, and it's going to come down to, okay, you know what? We won 3 more games or whatever it may be. We just can't turn it back over to Romo. Or do you think he's so into himself that he's going to do it anyways?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think Jerry Jones is probably in that instance just trying to kind of say something nice about Romo. I think that they're trying to kind of like protect his image within the team. But realistically, from a football point of view, you can't take out Prescott. He's just playing too well. It doesn't make any sense to yank him out.
And
why would you do that?
And I hate the comparisons but it fits the mold so perfectly back to 2001 when Brady came in for an injured Bledsoe, and then Bledsoe, never got his job back. I know it's like the same cookie cutter mold, and especially today when Prescott passed Brady's record for most completions at the start of season, as a rookie without an interception and all this stuff.
I think that's a little bit overblown, to be honest with you, though, because if you watch a lot of the Cowboys games and you look at the way that their passing attack's been run, they've been giving him very safe passes.
Oh, without a doubt.
Absolutely.
He hasn't really been asked to stretch the field. He hasn't been asked to go deep. And they've really – this is a credit to the coaching staff, too. This isn't like a knock on the guy. They've done a very good job of putting him in a position to maximize his strengths and kind of slow the game down for him a little bit. This isn't really like a dig, even though it kind of sounds like it is.
Yeah, I just hate comparisons to players like that. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like I said, and then Aikman today. That's kind of where
I'm going with it too.
Right, and then Aikman today comes out and says, "Well, he's close to passing, Brady's record," and he brought up the whole Bledsoe thing like 3 or 4 times during the broadcast, and then he goes, but it's warranted because there are so many similarities between Prescott and Brady. They're almost the same quarterback. And I was like, no. First of all, Brady doesn't run. Brady can throw the ball down the field. You know what I mean? Like all these other things.
If you want to compare him to anybody, Russell Wilson's probably a much better parallel to Dak Prescott than Brady. I mean, that's crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah, it blew my mind. Aikman to me is on the same level as Joe Buck. Like they could both go suck on a dick and choke for all I care. Like I can't stand either one of them. And to have to listen to them do a game, I'm just like, God damn it, shut up. But honestly, I think the NFC East right now is probably the most watched, most fun to watch football games, especially when it's a divisional game. But even when it's not, I mean, all the teams like today, Beckham finally showed up after leaving the game with the hip injury, and he looked good. The Redskins, when Cousins is on rhythm, they're going to be a hard team to beat when they have, when they have their running back, when their running game's going good and, Jackson wakes up and plays. Obviously, Wentz has the capability to move the ball and get that team going. And when your defense is strong, it's good. And then right now, the sky's the limit for Prescott. Like, it's hard to look at the NFL right now and say that, you can't lean toward the NFC being represented by a NFC East team at this time, because every one of those teams, I think, has the potential, if they get hot at the right time, to make a run at the Super Bowl and be a contending team. Because in the NFC, aside from, we thought Arizona was going to be one of those teams. They're not. Aside from Seattle and maybe Minnesota, and who knows how long Bradford's going to go, the NFC is a crapshoot. I mean, it could be any. I mean, it can't be the Niners, but it could be anyone else. You mentioned Seattle, and that's true. That's probably the best team in the NFC right now. I mean, I can't think of anybody else. Everybody else is just flawed. And Wilson's doing it on one leg.
There's no real dominant team out there. I think Minnesota's close. I mean, that defense is
that's what's going to get them. That's what's going to keep them close, is their defense. And I think Minnesota coaches have done the same thing with Bradford that the Philly coaches have done with Wentz, and that's they've slowed things down. They're keeping it simple. They're playing to his strengths, and they're keeping him upright, and that's going to keep him healthy. And
especially after losing their last tackle too. Don't forget they
absolutely
also really, really good offensive lineman.
Absolutely
on his blind side.
Yeah,
the Eagles. I mean, that was part of the problem today. I mean, you mentioned Wentz being a little bit skittish in the pocket, and he was, but at the same time, our right tackle, who was playing probably the best football of his career, he might be the best right tackle in football right now. I mean, Lane Johnson, he just started his suspension. They threw a rookie out there who was just abused. He gave up 2 sacks within the first, 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, and it's funny. The last thing we'll talk about real quick here is Minnesota. Like, how well Bradford's doing up there right now, and I think he is obviously piggybacking off of the success of the defense. He's not being forced to take over a game and come back and win. But if you think about Minnesota, and they're the last undefeated team in football right now because they're on their bye this week, and you look at them and just think what they're doing right now with Bradford. Just imagine how much better they could be if Bridgewater wasn't hurt. Like, that team, their offense would be way more explosive. They wouldn't have to play a dumbed down offense. And, the defense
Peterson
playing the way they are. And
stick Adrian Peterson in the background.
Yeah, ridiculous. Yeah, talk about, that team right now, and I think it's a huge testament to their head coach because he's been talking about it since Bridgewater went down. They are the epitome of the next man up. Like, they are, you know what I mean? Like, there's not one guy on that team that thinks he's better than the next, and those guys are like, okay, it's my turn, let's go. And they're playing some awesome football to watch. And I think it helps that they're playing in a fucking amazing new place, and the fans there are finally energized after so many years in this shithole and then having to play outside. That, they're just all signs right now are pointing to a promising year. The only downfall that they've had.
They're catching the Packers at a little bit of a down year too, which makes the division a little bit more winnable for them than it has been.
The only knock that I've seen on Minnesota, and it's this season, and that's not even anything that's happened on the field, and it kind of falls back in line to what we talked about with flaws in a new stadium, is their player entrance tunnel through that bar. When their player gets hurt, they had to parade Peterson back through the bar with a knee injury because they don't have like a side entrance into the locker room. Aside from that, it's been all positives for the Minnesota Vikings. So honestly, I want to see the Vikings play a team from the NFC East in the NFC Championship game. I think it'll be a fucking slobber knocker of a game, and it's going to be whoever comes out of a game like that's going to win the Super Bowl. There's no way, unless Brady has his way and gets his revenge on Goodell by that. Last thing, Ron, before I let you go.
Sure.
Is there any talks out there? Obviously we get a lot of talk about it here because they're somewhat local. Is there any talk out there about the Raiders and the vote in Vegas, and any thoughts on what's going to go down with the future of the Oakland Raiders, or is that news that doesn't really trickle out that far?
No, I mean, a couple people just kind of brought it up as like a point of interest, but I mean, I guess it's one of those things where you're a little bit more local to it in that regard, so it probably is a little bit of a bigger deal. The way that it's being treated out here was, I mean, you've heard these kind of rumors floated out there for so many years at this point that I think it's one of those like, okay, I mean, just wake me up when somebody actually does something.
Right.
Here we go again.
And that's the life of a Sacramento Kings fan.
Yeah.
Hey,
welcome to Sixerville.
Does the Sixers Arena have cup holders?
Yeah, they do have cup holders.
You fuckers.
In the upper and lower bowl?
Oh, I don't know. If I was in the upper bowl, I was probably hammered. I wasn't really paying attention.
Corner Pub gets courtside seats now.
They do, because now I remember like putting my beer on, thinking about it.
Yeah, I had to put my $14 Sierra Nevada on the floor at Golden One Center.
That's crazy.
Yeah, let that soak in for a minute. $14. I went to a restaurant in town here. It's a hot dog place called Wienerworks. It's fucking amazing. Went in there and I'm looking at their beer options. Their Sierra Nevada on draft, $3.25.
Was it a standard size beer?
Yeah, just a regular.
It wasn't like a pounder can or anything like that.
No, it was a regular plastic, pint glass that you get at a ballpark.
Jesus Christ, $14. Do you get a hand job with it or?
Nope.
No, but you do get fucked in the ass on the way out the door.
And if they did, they do it with sandpaper. Oh, man. Anyways, Ron, man, I know it's late. You're looking at midnight over there. Hopefully you're at work and not at home, because then I feel like a dick.
Yeah, I'm heading home now, actually, so this is timed pretty much perfectly.
Right on, man. Well, hey, appreciate it. Hopefully we'll be able to talk more later on the season goes along and, have some more positive things. I hope the Eagles don't end up losing 7 in a row.
Yeah, I know.
But we'll have to have some gentleman bets coming up as the NBA season approaches. We'll talk Kings Sixers when that happens, and we'll have some fun with it.
Yeah, sounds good, man.
Hey,
right,
tell people real quick. Tell people where to find you.
Oh yeah, you can find me at find the website cornerpubsports.com. Follow us on Twitter at Corner Pub Sports, Facebook, Corner Pub Sports. If you Google it, pops right up.
Right on. They're Philly's up-and-coming podcast. They seem to have their fingers in a little bit of everything, and they're a great listen. So they're on Wildfire Radio, on the Wildfire Radio app. Hopefully we can get some traction getting us on there soon. That would be cool to branch out and, check them out. They're on iTunes. They're on Google Play, I think, and they're everywhere. So, check them out. Yep. That's Corner Pub Sports. Thanks, Ron.
Thanks, guys.
See you, bud.
See you, Greg.
Always love talking to him, man. He's so much energy. It almost sucks that they're so goddamn far away. Like, I think it'd be cool to do like a cross-promoted show and really just kind of, get shit going. But I do like the idea of maybe building up a bar in here, or maybe building up a little, like a L-shaped platform where we can, sit on opposite sides.
Yeah.
And, do something different in here. So I might look into doing
Now that
something.
you own the house, you can make changes to it.
Yeah, I can cut like a hole in the floor and you can sit super low like a...
You mean lower than I already am?
Yeah. Like lay on the ground and talk upwards. I could hang the mic from the ceiling, something like that.
I want a couch in here. I want a recliner. That's what I want.
I'm going to need a bigger room for that.
Forget about a bar. We just need 2 recliners.
That would be kind of cool.
I'll go to a handheld mic and just lean back and...
So there were talks, and this is kind of sidebarred, but there were talks that we may build a office for me out in the garage.
Oh, the garage or the...
No, out in the garage for now. Do like a temporary office out there, funnel in the air conditioning and, run the heater and stuff out there, run the ducting out there. And, depending on how big we go, we could have some fun with that, building up, an office/studio. We'll look into that. But the other option I might have, and this, again, sidebar to the show, no one cares, was thinking about eliminating desks completely and doing like a wall-mounted desk where it's up off the wall for my work stuff, where I'm standing the whole day. That way it's up out of the way, and then we can build like an L-shape setup in here.
Yeah.
Have a full-on like studio setup and things like that. So, yeah, like you said, now that I own it, thanks to Mr. Veroza, we can start looking into that stuff. But we mentioned it real quick. I don't want to get too much into it because there's so much in the air when it comes to the NFL and relocation. But the Vegas government, the city council, the Senate, the state, and the mayor now have signed off on the $1.5 billion.
That was $750 million.
Well, they signed off on $750 million, but it's a total job is a $1.5 billion, 65,000 seat dome stadium.
Wow.
In Vegas for the Raiders. Mark Davis came out and said our new home will be Vegas. The NFL apparently has been reaching out to Oakland saying, hey, get your shit together. But
Davis did come out today and said they're going to play their next 2 years for sure in Oakland.
Well, they have to.
Yeah, which gives Oakland a chance to get their shit together.
Yeah, but
and we both know that Davis is enough like his old man to where
he'll chase the money.
He'll chase the money and he'll start playing one against the other.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, here's the thing, the governor signs the bill tomorrow. That's right. It's gonna go the way that Jerry Jones wants it to go, and that's exactly why LA went down the way it did. He gave the Rams LA and kept Oakland out as the third horse in the race, and then gave San Diego the second right of refusal to get there. That was all brought to the table by Jerry Jones. And the rest of the owners just said, okay, we'll go with that. The NFL owners, essentially, from what I've read, don't like to be a part of board of governor meetings and these tough decisions. They basically are a bunch of sheep that look to one head person and go, hey, what should we do? And that head person is Jerry Jones. So the league's going to go the way that Jerry Jones goes. And for any Raider fan that says, oh, but Roger Goodell said that he doesn't want him in Vegas. Newsflash, Roger Goodell has no vote. He has no say. Roger Goodell works for the owners.
Yep.
So while he is the
and he
face,
works for he works for Jerry Jones.
Yeah. So whatever Roger Goodell wants, he can make recommendations, but that's just not going to make a difference whatsoever.
Yeah. He's no David Stern.
No David Stern whatsoever at all. But there's that. The Raiders got They got stomped today. I think that they got, kind of like, it was a bait game for them. They didn't show up, and they got beat bad. I think that's going to go down to those two teams in the AFC West, though. It's going to be the Raiders versus the Chiefs.
I don't know. Denver's still going to have a little bit of a say on things,
They may.
too.
Let's see. Anything else in the league to talk about? Kaepernick sucks. Fantasy football stupid. We'll make our picks online and we'll post them later on.
Last man standing sucks. Killer leagues or survival leagues.
Yeah, so
I took Pittsburgh in both of mine. See ya. Good night.
Fantasy football is dumb though. My quarterback, I had Carson Wentz today, got me 7 points.
Okay, my quarterback.
Let me finish. 7 points. Start of the games, I'm down 60, I believe I was, because who was? Okay, so I'm playing against Will Nanoff, the Crazy Squirrels, right? And I'm still up by 10. He has, Andrew Luck played. I'm going to win. He had Brandon Cooks, who put up 54. And that was the start of it right there. I'm like, oh, fuck, I am screwed, right? Carson Wentz, 7 points. Hey, thanks for that. Crabtree, who's been killing it for me, 3 points. Running back Freeman and Murray, 8 and 12. Sammy Coates, who 3 touchdowns last week. Yeah, thanks for the 0. Yeah, dick. Houston's defense, it was just bad. If I would have started Rodgers, I would have got 12 or 10. But then I have Kobe Fleener, who broke off like a 60-yard touchdown, and he ended up scoring 36. And then Odell Beckham Jr., he played the role of hero for me, scoring 73 points this week, and I'm going to win by 10 points with a 7-point quarterback performance and an 8-point running back. How about that one? He had 3 40-yard catches, 2 touchdowns over 40 yards, and he lost a fumble. Still got me 73 points. 8 catches, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns.
All right, can I go now?
Yep.
All right, so for the second time this year, and mind you, there's only been 2 quarterbacks that have scored over 100 points in our league, which just is not right anyway. Both times against me. Had they done what they were predicted to do, last time I would have won by 70. This time, I would have won by 30. But no, Drew Brees decided to go off. Now, Eli Manning came back in the fourth quarter and scored 71, but yeah, no, I shit the brick.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. One more note on the on the Raiders situation. A lot of fans are like, well, why don't they just build a new stadium for the A's and the Raiders? Well, the NFL won't approve a multi-use stadium. They want football only.
Yep.
And the Oakland mayor has come out and basically said that they're going to choose one or the other, and that the Oakland Athletics carry more financial promise than the Raiders do because they have 81 home games versus 8. So if they're gonna put all their money in one basket, it's gonna go to the A's and building a baseball stadium, not the Raiders building a football stadium. It's gonna have to be a private funded arena or stadium, I should say. And Davis only wants to put up $500 million, so they're gonna have to find someone else with a shitload of money that wants to come in. And there's been talks that Eddie DeBartolo may join in the fray, and Ronnie Lott's out there doing things. And here's the problem.
It's not going to happen.
It's too little too late. They should have been doing this a long time ago and actually engaged the Raiders, and the Raiders don't want to be engaged. Mark Davis wants all the say. He wants the final decision. And right now he's leveraging the shit out of Vegas, and he's going to get his way, and it will not be in Oakland. That's my
it won't. They're gone.
That's my prediction.
Gone. And here's the thing about Raider fans. They don't care.
No. Raider fans travel so well, they will follow anywhere they go.
You know, they went to L.A. I had buddies that, were going to every game when they were in L.A., and then, $75 round or one-way trip to LA on Southwest. Same thing in Vegas. There's plenty of hotel rooms.
Well, not only that, but think about this. You don't need a hotel. Fly in for $80, watch the game, fly home that night for another $80. Whatever. And not only that, though, but all those LA Raider fans that are still loyal to the Raiders, it's a 3-hour drive. They're going to drive to Vegas, take a fucking party bus, get shit-faced, and come back to LA later that night. There's not going to be any turn down of Raider fans out there.
The only thing is, there won't be a local fan base. It'll be small, but Vegas isn't that big. It's not a big city. It's a very transient city.
But they're going to get people from Arizona that are right up the road that are Raider fans that are going to come. They're going to get people, like I said, from LA. Those are going to be the home fans. Those are going to be their fan base. They're still going to have the Black Hole. They're still going to have a Raider Nation out there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And people are going to be like, wow. Now, it's not going to be Oakland rowdy, but it's still going to be Raider fans. And it's going to be
LA
crazy.
was pretty rowdy, too. So
absolutely. What does this say? That's exactly what I did when I saw Turner Field in Atlanta, one-day road trip.
Who's that?
Ron.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's what it's going to be. It's going to just be, they're going to drive a little bit more and they're going to, take it all in. So that'll be something fun to watch over. Bellingham Niners fan says 600,000 people live in Vegas. He says that's population in Vegas.
Yeah, but shut up.
Not football fans, though.
Not
Probably not. Anyways, with that being said, I'm out of things. So unless you have anything... Oh, Ronda Rousey's back and UFC.
Well, wait. 600,000 is smaller than Sacramento. So just because there's 600,000 people there doesn't make it a big city. Sacramento's... The Sacramento proper or Sacramento metro area is 1 million people. We couldn't support the Raiders here.
I think we could.
I don't think we could. I don't think we have the. We don't have the. The only thing that they have that we don't is they have corporate money. We don't have the corporate money to support that.
But we'd have the fan base.
I don't know. I don't think we would.
Anyways, for the 5 people listening across the country, right now look at this. We have Sacramento. We have Sacramento.
I
But
don't understand. We're out. But I could search the web for it.
Is that your Siri?
Yeah.
Hey, Siri.
How can I help you? I'm listening.
Siri's going fucking crazy now. They're talking to each other. But yeah, we have Seattle. We have Bellingham, Washington, right up by Seattle. We have Philly. We're global right now. So with that being said, guys, it is
around the world and coast to coast, coming to you live from Sacramento, California.
With that being said, for Greg Veroza, I'm Greg Bull. Next week we should have a show. I'll be in Seattle for a Spartan race on Saturday, Friday afternoon and Saturday. I should be back Saturday night. We should be good. I'm going to Fright Fest though. I may not be here.
I got a swim meet Sunday. I should be done, but
we're thinking about going to Fright Fest on Sunday at Six Flags. So I don't know how late we're going to be. We may not be back. I'll play it by ear. I'll let you guys know beforehand. But with that being said, for Greg, I am Greg.
Good night, Larry.
Season 5, Episode 5. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
For those of you that are still here, hold on just 1 second.
Was that ESPN thing that came through?
Breaking news out of the NFL. Ben Roethlisberger, quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers, will be having surgery tomorrow on a torn meniscus. No timetable for return.
You know what? I was going to bring that up because I got that notification as I walked in the house today.
So with that being said, for Greg, I am Greg. We'll see you next week.
Good night, Larry.